thank you all for coming. And we're going to start with our first speaker, which is Inez. Pronounce that?
Yes, Inez.
I'll let Inez tell you about herself.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone. So I started out a little bit before. My name is Inez Ortiz. I'm a program assistant with Sustainable CT, and I've been a program assistant for almost a year coming up this month, which is exciting. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Sustainable CT, what we are, who we are, and what we have to offer for towns. And then a little bit about our community match fund, which is how residents can get involved, because I help manage the community match fund. So thank you, Lynn, for inviting me. It's great to meet everybody here and to be here today. So Sustainable CT, I'll start off with just a brief overview. We are a voluntary municipal certification program for Connecticut towns. So Connecticut towns choose to register with Sustainable CT by passing a resolution saying that they have a willingness to participate in what we stand for and the resources that we have. So Sustainable CT really tries to inspire, support, and then recognize the great things that Connecticut towns do. So we like to think that we inspire towns through our roadmap of actions, which is, we have 13 categories, which I'll get into a little bit more later, of sustainability best practices that towns can do to help make their communities more resilient, not only in the terms of environmental things, but just the things that make a community a great place to live, work, and play. We support communities by the many free resources that we offer. We offer a plethora of technical assistance resources that any registered town can access, and as can residents. And we also provide funding through our community match fund, which I will also talk about later. And then we recognize the great things that the towns do in Sustainable CT through our certification program. So the certification program is really the heart of our program. Towns can reach different thresholds to get different certification levels. Like Vernon is currently silver certified. So we have bronze, silver, and gold level certification. And we also have a climate leader designation, which is, it's attached to a certification level, but it's actions that are specifically tailored to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to build resiliency towards climate change and the effects that we will see. So our impact so far, as of 2024, we have 136 towns registered to participate in Sustainable CT, which is about 80% of the state, and we've had about 5 towns register alone in 2024, which is super exciting. Right now, 58 towns are currently certified, but we're in the midst of reviewing for our 2024 certification period. So in June, hopefully we will have some more towns to add to that list that will be certified. From our different certification cycles and since our inception in around 2018, more than 3,700 sustainability actions have been implemented across the 136 towns that are registered, and over $4 million have been invested into community-led projects through our community match fund. So through these different statistics, we really hope that we're helping foster connected, inclusive, and resilient communities and meeting towns where they're at so they have the best resources to do this in what fits for them. As most of you know, Connecticut is a very diverse state, so we have all different kinds of towns. We have towns with 100,000 residents like New Haven, and then we have little towns where there may only be 5,000 residents. So we really tried to create a roadmap and an organization that will fit every town that we have in Connecticut. So we could talk a little bit about Vernon's involvement, and I thought that would be fun to start off with. So Vernon passed a resolution to join Sustainable CT in 2018, the first year that you were able to, which is exciting. And soon after, in 2019, Vernon was certified silver, earning 800 points across 35 different sustainability actions. In 2021, 2 different community match fund projects were held in Vernon, one to help repair the Tankerhausen Bridge, and another one to do a Shakespeare production. In 2022, there was another 2 community match fund projects led in Vernon, one for the Tempest production, and then another one that the Vernon Community Network actually played a large role in for the MLK Juneteenth Diversity Day. And also in 2022, Vernon successfully recertified silver with another 800 points across 42 sustainability actions. And in 2023, there has been another 2 community match fund projects to take place in Vernon, another theater production, and then Lynn's project, the MLK Community Dancing Towards Diversity Day event. So Vernon has had a steady 2 community matchment projects a year, which is great. We love investing into projects, into communities, and hopefully we can keep that going. So our roadmap of actions is what I'll talk a little bit about next, since that is really the heart of our program. So we like to look at sustainability very broadly. So when you think of sustainability, I'm sure you think of climate resiliency, land and natural resources, renewable energy, clean transportation, and EVs, and we definitely do touch on those topics because they're very important. But we also try to look at what makes a community a great place to live. So we're also looking at what do the arts and culture look like in the town? Is the town supporting the events that go on? We're looking at what a town is doing for homelessness prevention and making sure that there's a diverse stock of housing in the community that's accessible to different residents. So these are the 13 different categories that we have, and under each category there is a plethora of actions that towns are able to choose from that if they want to implement and go towards certification, that is awesome. We love to see towns getting certified. But if not, a lot of towns also just use our roadmap of actions as somewhere to start to see what are the best practices in sustainability right now. Towns don't need to get certified, and a lot of them don't, but a lot of towns have expressed that just having a page where they can see everything that's great that a town can do to help become more resilient, not only in terms of climate change, but also just for the sake of the residents and the health of the town, that it can be extremely helpful. So some examples that I just wanted to provide on the actions that we have and how diverse they are. One is our action 2.4, which is to provide resources and supports to local businesses. So we're looking at how the towns support their local businesses. Maybe by hosting a business roundtable so businesses can come together and share and collaborate, or maybe by creating a support small business development centers or Main Street programs that help support local businesses. And I have an example up here of the Buy Local Vernon campaign that was submitted in the last certification cycle. We also have actions that have to do with like land and natural resources, like I had mentioned before, such as pollinator pathways. And towns love this action because it's a pretty easy action to do, but it makes a really big impact. So by having the town allow pollinator pathways on the town green or near the town hall, that can earn points. Or maybe just by talking about pollinators at an event like this, if the town supports it and has an educational seminar, we love to see that as well. And then more things that are on more of the town side than the resident side are things like offering infrastructure to recycle additional materials that are not mandated by Connecticut law to have to be recycled. So, such as mattresses and different kinds of plastics. The root of our actions is all of our actions are either above what state law requires. So we don't have any actions or towns can't get credit for things that they're required to do by the state. We like to take that extra step to go above and beyond. And the last action I'll talk about is 10.7, which is improve outdoor access for all. This is a new action that we just added to our framework this year in 2024. And this is just to make sure that outdoor spaces are being not improved, but outdoor spaces are accessible to all people and that they're usable for all different kinds of people. So if you have a park with sidewalks, are those sidewalks good for people in wheelchairs to use, people who have strollers, maybe people who have crutches, maybe people who need a cane? So we really try to keep a wide array of actions. So there's everything, and we're thinking about the residents and the people and the environment. So I will next go into some of the resources that we offer. So some of the support and technical assistance resources are our equity coaches, which Terry Lynn is one of our equity coaches, and our equity coaches are a very prized possession by the towns. Our equity coaches can work with towns free of charge to help them with really whatever they need help with pertaining to equity. Maybe they need help trying to know how to connect with a certain group in town that they wouldn't really know how to connect with if not. Or maybe they want help with certain of our equity actions, and an equity coach is there to lend a hand of how to just get a different insight. Sometimes it's nice in a town where people think similarly and there's similar procedures. It's nice to have somebody on the outside come in and explain, maybe you could do this differently, or maybe you could just look at this differently. We also offer lots of workshops and trainings that are free of charge, and they're usually remote so we can have as many people attend as possible. We also have many technical assistance partners that you can see all on that screen. And our technical assistance partners do many different things. So one of our popular ones is we partner with the Nature Conservancy to hold community resilience building workshops for towns that are interested. And this is where you bring together a bunch of different people from the town, Parks and Recs people, different organizations, different people from the towns, the first selectman or the mayor, and you talk about the things in your town that could be a hazard moving forward with the changes that we're gonna see with climate change. So maybe your main street floods a lot and people notice that, but it's not really talked about. You come to this workshop and then after the workshop, you talk about it, and then the Nature Conservancy would provide you with a big report of their summary of findings and with some suggestions of things that you could do moving forward. We also have our fellowship program, which our fellows will be coming on very soon at the end of this month, and the towns love our fellows. They come to the towns and help them with their certification efforts. They help do lots of the paperwork that towns don't have time to do or just don't want to do. So our fellows are here for the whole summer up until the latter of our certification cycle in August, and they are great. And Vernon is welcome to have a fellow this summer as well, help out with your interning.
I know we have I think a meeting coming up to meet the fellows.
Yep.
That we might have.
Yep. June 11th, we have an event where our new cohort of fellows will be there. Everybody is welcome to attend this event. We're going to be celebrating our spring certified towns, and we will also be saying goodbye to our executive director, Lynn Stoddard, who will be retiring. So everyone's welcome to attend that. And now into our community match fund, which is another one of our resources and really how residents can get involved with sustainable CT outside of certification. So our community match fund is a crowd granting matching program where it's fast, easy, and flexible. We tried to take down the barriers of traditional grant applications because I don't know about you, but if you've seen some of the grant applications for money, they are quite difficult and can be very time consuming to look at, and they're not accessible to everybody who may need to apply for a grant for something that they want to do in town. So the Community Match Fund is open to anybody in a registered town, so anybody in Vernon, a resident, a nonprofit organization, a student, a school, could come to us with their idea. And as long as it aligns to one of the actions or categories that we have, then it's eligible for funding, and we match dollar to dollar that's raised up to $7,500 or $15,000, depending on the project. So this is where the $4 million has been invested into over 300 communities since the Community Match Fund was conceived almost 5 years ago now. Half of that was crowdfunded through the community and the other half was matched by us. So for example, if you saw your main street and you thought, that would be so cool if we had a pollinator garden there, but maybe you don't have the funds to, and that's perfectly normal. I wouldn't want to have to spend my money to put in a pollinator garden. But if you come to us and you know the community would love to have it, then we would support it. You run a crowdfunding campaign that is 30 to 60 days where you raise half of the money, and then once you raise half the money, we would match it. And I included some examples of the community match fund projects that have been done here in Vernon. Here's one in 2021 that was done to repair the Tankerhoosin River Bridge. So for this project, their goal was to raise $2,800, and they actually exceeded their goal and raised $3,000, and in total, they were able to have almost $6,000 to put towards repairing the bridge. And another example was the Midnight Summer's Dream in downtown Rockville, the theater production, and this is a yearly occurrence. They actually came back to us this year to want to do another project this summer, which is exciting. And this project raised $7,500 they needed, and they exceeded their goal as well and raised $8,600. So they had a little bit over $16,000 to put towards their theater production that was free and accessible for everybody in the community to be able to attend. And the last example I have is a project that the Vernon Community Network was heavily involved with for the MLK Juneteenth Diversity Day celebration in 2022. And this is what a lower budget, so you can see that the budgets don't need to be the maximum amount that you can raise. It's really just exactly what you need and what your project would need. And this project was able to raise about $2,000 in the end to put towards the project to have the Diversity Day go on. So if you're feeling inspired after that and you'd like to run your own community match fund project, like I said earlier, we try to keep it really easy and accessible. So the first step would just be have a great idea that's publicly accessible and would benefit your community in some way. The only thing you would need to do is email funding@sustainablect.org, or you could email myself. I have my cards here and some flyers on our community match fund. You email just a brief project idea or just say you want to have a call to talk about a project. Then we'll set up a time to chat with you over Zoom, and it's a very brief call. It's not formal, maybe half an hour. We just want to hear your project idea, when you would like to run a crowdfunding campaign, and how much money you'd think you'd need. After your project is approved, we connect you with a personal crowdfunding coach, and she helps guide you through the steps of building your crowdfunding page, the best practices for crowdfunding, and she will handle the payout process and all that fun stuff. Once your page is built, you get to run a 30 to 60 day campaign where you raise half of the funds that you need. And then once completed, we send you a check for the other half, for the lump sum that you've raised and including our match, and you're able to do your project. And this is just a little screenshot of what our Patronicity page looks like. So you can see we've had 320 projects in total, and over 20,000 people donate to the projects that we've helped host. So that was presentation, and thank you to our funders, of course. So yeah, that's the stand.
So Inez, just on a little bit on the crowdfunding, can you just speak a little bit about Patronicity, which is the group that actually does your setup and all that?
Yeah,
for you?
definitely. So we have a crowdfunding partner platform. So we take the project ideas and figure out if they're eligible and so on. And then Patronicity is another organization, and they have basically like a GoFundMe page. They host different state organizations that have programs like ours. So they have, that's where your page will actually be hosted. So if you saw, I can go back a few slides. This screenshot right here from Terry Lynn's project, that's a screenshot of what the page actually looks like, and they host the website that this page is actually on. So then the crowdfunding coach shall able to help you build your page and so on. And then, yeah, it's a nice collaborative effort between the two organizations, and they're a very vital partner in the process.
Cool. And it's very good for computer dummies.
Yeah.
So they're very helpful, and you can just shoot them the question and say, this is what I want it to look like, and they help you build it. So yeah, it's cool.
Yes, question, Ren.
I have a question. I know GoFundMe do have a charge for you to, is that some charge that will be associated with this, or is it just?
Yeah, Patronicity has their own fees for the website, like using it. I believe for the use of the website, it's somewhere between a 3 to 5% charge, and there's also like a credit card processing fee. But what's interesting and cool about Patronicity is if I go to donate to a project, there's an option for me to round up so I can donate towards the fees being waived. So in a lot of the time, that's what a lot of donors will do, because it's like an extra, it depends on the budget, but it's not very much extra. And then if you get 100 donations and everybody chooses to donate extra towards the fees, a lot of the time those fees get covered at the very end of the project. Yeah.
The $4 million invested by you guys is tremendous and very supportive. Does that money come from Green Bank, or is it approved by the legislature, or is there a time frame, or is the money pretty guaranteed to go forward? Is there a risk that someday it might not be available?
So we're fully grant funded, so we have there's nothing like with the state that funds us at all. So we're all funded independently through different, like lots of family foundations. The Green Bank is one of our big funders for the community match fund. So the $4 million invested has already been handed out. So that's $2 million we've handed out to projects already completed. The other two crowdfunded in the community that people have donated their money. But we are lucky enough to have secured funding to move forward with the community match fund, that we know if a project comes forward, there would be no risk that they may not
Great,
get
you
the
hate to see
funding.
it all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have the funding that we do and have the support towards the community match fund.
Any other questions?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.